G'day everyone, welcome to week 5 mathematics. Isn't the year slowly coming to an end? And same with our flip learning. Just a reminder also, if you're doing this on Monday night, that tomorrow is a public holiday, Melbourne Cup Day. I need the flip learning book and the questions completed by Wednesday at 12 p.m. Our Walt for this week is creating a timetable for the KT Grand Finals day. That's what we are learning to do. That's our ultimate goal at the end of this lesson. What I'm looking for is conversion between 24-hour and 12-hour time and vice versa. So going from 12 to 24 and 24 to 12. And why are we doing this? Well, I think it's a perfect time for us to be doing this because learning about 24-hour time and 12-hour time will help us when reading timetables in high school next year. So I think that's really important. So that's Maths Week 5. That's our goal. At the end of this lesson, what we want to do is create a timetable for the KT Grand Finals day, which is going to be absolutely huge. First of all, let's start with time. We've got AM and PM versus 24-hour clock. Normally, time is shown as hours and minutes. For example, down the bottom, you can see there is 10:25. But in 24-hour time, that is written differently. Okay, so the example there on the board is 13:33, and that would be 1:33. So that's what we're looking at today: AM versus PM versus 24-hour clock. There are two main ways to show the time. There's 24-hour clock or AM and PM. 24-hour clock, the time is shown as how many hours and minutes since midnight. AM and PM or 12-hour clock is the day that is split into, it's broken into two. The 12 hours running from midnight to noon, the AM hours, and the other 12 hours running from noon to midnight, the PM hours. It's interesting, because we're so familiar with AM and PM, it becomes easier for us. But I think the 24-hour clock is far more simpler for us to understand. It's probably the reason why it's used by airports and railway stations and those sort of things. Here's a little table for us that help us follow. So we can see the AMs down the bottom, and we've got up top the 24-hour equivalent. So we've got 0, 100 hours, 3 AM is 300 hours, and the real shift comes at 12. Okay, so from 12, instead of going to 1, we move on to 1300 hours. And there's once again the AM and the PM. And I'll get you to make sure you write these down: ante, meridian, and post-meridian. So that's important for us to understand also. Converting AM to PM to 24-hour clock, add 12 to any hour afternoon and subtract 12 for the first hour of the day. For the first hour of the day, 12 midnight to 12:59 AM, subtract 12 hours. Examples: 12 midnight equals 0. Take 12:35 AM equals 0:35. From 1 AM to 12:59 PM, there's no change. And it shows there from 1 PM to 11:59 PM, you add the 12 hours. So from 1 PM, if we add 12 hours, that would be 1300. Here's some examples of some conversions. I'll just leave it up there. I do not have to talk through it. Here's some other examples for you. Midnight and noon, 12 AM and 12 PM can cause confusion, so we prefer 12 midnight and 12 noon. What day is midnight? Midnight has another problem. There is nothing to tell us, is this the beginning or ending of the day? Imagine if your friends say they are leaving for a holiday at midnight on 12th of March. What day should you arrive to say goodbye? Do you get there on the 11th, assuming they leave at the very start of the 12th, or the 12th, assuming that they leave at the end of the 12th? It is better to use 11:59 PM or 12:01 AM or 23:59 or 0 or 1 past midnight to do that. Here's a couple of little questions that I want you to have completed in your flip book. There's question 1, and there's question 2. And finally, this is what I need you to do. Using 24-hour time, create a KT timetable for KT day. You need to factor in breaks, the commissioner briefing, lunch breaks, and the presentation. It's going to start at 9 and it's going to finish at 3. You need to factor that in. That's the challenge for this week. Not much talking from me this week. A lot of watching, a lot of reading graphs, those sort of things. But I need your books completed by Wednesday at 12 p.m. I look forward to seeing you next week.